Well, we are back at Lewisburg Antiques today, picking up where we left off yesterday. If you haven't seen that video, there is a link to it down in the description. We start the video here with Michael, the Cult of Vintage on Instagram, modeling this beautiful figurine for us. It was quite the figurine. I've never seen one like it, but Michael did pass on that, I do believe. Now, I found this glass vase, and I found this to be very interesting. I wasn't sure who made this, but it was very heavy and good quality. There was no signatures on it or markings, and I just thought it was curious, and I decided to grab it and take a chance on it. I actually have one of these robots from when my father took my son to a yard sale, and he bought one of these robots. So I was kind of excited to see that they're selling them for that high price. I think that I need to dig out that robot and maybe list it on eBay. And then I spotted this glass, and I was very excited because I love the style of it. It is from Sweden, and I will absolutely butcher any attempt to pronounce the company that makes it, so I'm going to put it down below for all of you. But I just love the style of it, and the birds are just a bonus. So the pricing there is $125 each for the larger pieces and $45 each for the smaller birds. So I made up my mind that I was going to buy 2 birds, the smaller birds, and one of the large decanters. And so I had to kind of decide which one. And out of all of them, I decided that I was going to get the green decanter with the unamused facial expression. That was the most appealing to me. Unfortunately, this bird decanter did have a chip on its beak, and I'm not sure that the vendor was aware of that, but we did let them know before we got everything out of the case. So hopefully the vendor can be made aware of that little chippy on the beak. Now we did venture into this booth, and I spotted this white opalescent vase, and I really did like the pattern on this. I was having issues. It was very scary. It was a scary situation. But I ended up checking out the vase and then deciding after all of that scary situation, I really wasn't all that interested in it for $12. And so I ended up leaving that behind. You can see here they had some really amazing glass in this booth. Unfortunately, and fortunately, it was not priced where I could buy it and flip for a profit. This is more of collector's prices. And you guys know I collect those spun glass vases. I was a little tempted, but I decided that I need to thin out my collection currently. Now, there were a few figurine families in here, and they were cute. I also liked these canisters here. At first, I thought the $480 was for the canisters, and then it took me a moment to realize, wait a second, no. That is for the entire cabinet and not the canisters. I was thinking, what is it about those canisters that makes them worth $480? I need to know. Obviously, that's not the case. I loved this black and white table, the color scheme of it, and the enamel top was in really good condition for its age. There was no price on it though, so I'm not sure what they wanted for it. In this booth, there was an entire paperweight collection, and I was happy the kids weren't there because they would have been juggling with those paperweights and grabbing them off the shelf. Now, I noticed this bird, and it did not appear to be Murano, but I always flip them over to look. The bottom and the quality of the glass tells me that this is more than likely made in China. It's still a nice bird figurine, but it's not up to par with Murano quality glass. This giraffe was probably the largest leather giraffe that I have ever seen. Right about there is when I turned around and realized that other people had followed me into the booth, and I was feeling a little cramped, so I made a hasty exit out the other side of the booth. It was like the emergency back exit from the booth. And there is Michael. He caught up to us, and he was checking out this hat. It was a nice glass hat, but you can see there on the bottom that it's not polished. So that tells me that it's more than likely made in China. That's not always the case. There's a couple factors that I go to determine that, but I'm pretty sure that one's made in China. Now, I did love these little swan figurines. They were kind of in olive glass, little whimsy pieces. I love the waffle bottoms. I decided to grab this set. There were some really nice items here in the case. You can see there were some Fenton cats. They had some Hummel figurines in there, some Royal Dalton ladies. And then I saw this, and this is a Tramp Art box. It was only $140, which I know seems like quite a bit, but I felt like that was a pretty good deal on this Tramp Art box. I kind of went back and forth on this one, and I ended up ultimately leaving it, but I was very tempted. I thought it was amazing. And I've got a thing for Tramp Art. And this. As I was walking by, I could not have missed this. This beautiful duck figurine, similar to a duck we had a few months ago, but not quite as amazing. Now, this was only $18, and what I didn't realize at the time was there was a chip on the wing and a crack inside the glass. So that was a little bit of a bummer, but for only $18, I feel like we still did just fine. These vases. The vases were absolutely stunning. Red glass with writing on them, and the writing you could still read, teach us to do right. I had to read that. Teach us to do right. And I just loved the enamel work on those. They were just absolutely stunning. Probably late 1800s, early 1900s Victorian vases. And they were $85 for the pair. But I loved them so much that I decided that I was going to buy them. Because it's not every day you come across pieces with the florals and the writing still intact like that. I did really like this creamer, I'm not going to lie. I was trying to convince Michael how amazing this creamer was. I did end up looking up comps on this, and unfortunately the comps were not in his favor because the comps were about $40, and I think they had it priced for $30 or $35. So even though that's a great price for someone walking in off the street, for me as a reseller, I just couldn't really touch it at that price. But he was pretty great. He did have a little chippy there on the ear you could see. I did stick him in my cart though. He took a little ride in my cart while I looked him up and grabbed my other vase. And you can see here is the comp that I was talking about. It sold for about $40. So I'm sorry, little goat creamer. Back you go. But I put him right where the duck was so that the next person walking by could not miss him. I spotted this lampshade here on the bottom shelf. It did have a bird on it, a macaw to be exact, and I really did like it. I may have considered it had it been an actual lamp with all of the electric stuff happening, but because it was just a shade, I decided that I would leave that behind. There were some cute little gobble birds in here, and I just loved that little smiley face of that little bird. It was just so cute and pudgy. It was pretty adorable. Unfortunately, there was no mama bird to go with it. This art glass here did catch my eye, and it was $24. I don't know why, but I was like, should I not? And eventually, I took it to Michael and I asked him, should I do this? And then he helped convince me that I really didn't want it, because I knew that I didn't, but I needed someone else to tell me that I didn't, because it's just not the best quality. You can see the Millefiore is just very blurry, and the bottom is not polished smooth. It's a nice piece. I like it stylistically, but for $24, I just don't think it was a great buy for resale. I should always clarify, for resale. This froggy was adorable. It was $10, and there was actually a percentage off of the booth. I can't remember if it was 20%. Yes, I believe the sign said 20%. It is raku, and the way I can tell that is because it looks black and charred. That's usually the indicator for me. There was a cat that had sold recently, and the cat sold for $40, but I could not find a comp on the frog. Michael found this really cool poodle radio, and we were kind of playing with it. There were no batteries on the inside, but one thing we always check when looking at these things is that the battery compartment isn't ruined or rusted, and it was actually in good condition. Now we ventured towards the back of this shop. There's like a separate annex, I guess you could call it. I noticed this picture. It was $65 though, and I didn't know what it was, so I wasn't comfortable paying $65 for something that I just wasn't all that familiar with. This little boxer dog was cute, but I'm not sure who makes this. I was looking to see if there was any markings on the bottom. This was interesting because this was a McCoy pig. I know you're thinking the same thing I was thinking, which is, wait a second. That does not look like a pig. But also, that head does not look like that goes with that body. But that's just an observation. I could be wrong. I've never seen that cookie jar before. Maybe it's a special cookie jar. You know me, always checking out the art glass. I did like that seagull on the wave, but again, it's not something I'm familiar with. In the back, behind this angry man, there was a very nice piece of glass. Unfortunately, you can see that one of the feet on this was broken, and they wanted $19.50 for it. And I suspect that piece also would have had a lid. Now this definitely caught my attention because this is a design that is made by Royal Hickman of Royal Hager before he was with Royal Hager. However, I believe that this is a reproduction, or it was like a Japan copying his woman in a sun hat, because clearly that's marked Japan and that's not marked or unmarked. The one that I found was actually unmarked, but it is attributed to Royal Hickman. So I found that to be very interesting. Now this booth was 50% off everything. And this bird caught my attention. When I turned it over, I saw that it was signed. You can see the signature there. And I figured for 50% off, I like the lines of it. I love that it's painted on the bottom. It shows that the artist took that extra care and time to paint the bottom. I wasn't sure about this guy. He was marked Mexico, and I was like, wait, is this a chia pet of some sort? I was very confused. I've never in my life had a chia pet, so I'm not sure what they look like, but if I was to have one, I imagine this is what it would look like. Now, Michael actually spotted this frog macrame first, but he didn't want it, and I was very surprised, first of all. Second of all, I decided that if he wasn't going to take it, I needed to take it because I see a lot of owls, but I rarely ever see frog macrame. And it was pretty nicely done, in my opinion. So I did take it. I paid for it, but I took it with me. We had a figurine lamp there. Some bookends. A little bit of Noritake. I did like these mother of pearl buckles. There's a nice decanter in there. And I did like the doll. I noticed the head vase. That booth right there appeared to have a lot of primitive stuff, and because that's not my style, sometimes I will pass on booths that have a lot of primitive stuff. I know that there is resale value there, but I don't know what I'm looking at, and I have a tendency to stick with what I know, and primitive is just not my expertise. We do have some trench art there. That's some nice trench art. This looked like BBP. I turned it over and it was BBP. I was confused by this. This cat was adorable. It was marked at $34. And again, I just didn't see much room there for me as a reseller. I liked the art pottery here. It was only $12. It was a glazed trinket dish, but it wasn't an artist I recognized. Then I found the Murano. Well, more of it, I should say. I found more Murano. This is, they have it as Murano style because they weren't sure that it was Murano, and it is. It definitely is. Beautiful Murano. I love the colors of it. That blue with the purple I thought were just amazing. So that for me was like, nope, I couldn't get it in my cart fast enough. There you go. There was another dish there, and it's this amber dish right here. Now, this actually had a Murano sticker on it. You can see it there. And because this one was marked Murano, they had it for $35. It was amber, and I did like the applied edge because it had that gold or copper flaking in it. But I just couldn't pay $35 for it, unfortunately. But it was absolutely beautiful. I thought it would be great for fall. I liked the shape of this. It was $14.95. When I turned it over, I could not tell if it was modern or if it was old. And so because I could not tell, I decided that I should not partake in that. And I left it. Wowee, it's windy and cold out there. Our total spend at the Antique Mall today was probably like the most that, it may be the most that I've spent in a long time. It was $530. I was really excited. I spent a lot of money. I feel like I got some really good quality pieces. I'm very excited about those Swedish glass pieces. I did look up comps on those while we were there, and I'm feeling pretty good about those. And just everything was just so magical. So I'm feeling good about everything we got, and I'm excited to see how it does on eBay. But on that note, we're gonna go grab some lunch. That's the plan. If you're looking for some of the stuff that I bought today, it should be listed within the next week, so you can check our eBay. If you follow our eBay, I think you get a notification of our new listings, so you will be kept up to date. But anyway, I am gonna get out of here, and I'll see all of you tomorrow. Later. Before I end this video, I want to remind everyone that I am going to be a special guest along with Misty on the Nurse Flippers live video this Tuesday, which is February 2nd, 2021 at 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you're looking for something to do on Tuesday night and you want to come over and chat with us, I welcome you, and I hope that I see you there. Again, it's this Tuesday, February 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Nurse Flippers channel, and I'll link that down below. I'll see you then.